Hello and welcome to the November update here at Revesby Estates on the farm. So as normal, update on rainfall. The dry period has certainly come to an end. End of October it started raining, and in November in total we had 74 mil of rain, so just shy of 3 inches of rainfall. It seemed to be raining every single day in November. It's been quite a long, wet November in total. So it takes our average just to around 500 at the moment mil, and we would normally expect 600 throughout the year. So although it's been an extremely dry sort of summer and spring, we are catching up. 4 inches of rain in December, might fall as snow. It's now getting colder. We could expect quite easily, so we could end up with an average year if you looked at the figures on paper, although we all know it hasn't been an average year at all. So November, you can see behind me we've actually got some sheep. So these sheep have been brought in to start grazing off our cover crops. If you look back through some of the other videos, you will see I mentioned quite a lot about these covers. Normally the sheep come with us in December, but they've come a month early this year because of the dry growing conditions we've had. The covers are pushed on and they are now ready for actually grazing. So we've got 3 flocks throughout the farm trying to get these covers under control. So this is what they are actually grazing. They're grazing this down quite nicely now. We've just got the stems of the oil radish left here. The canopy's getting down. I'll just take you in a second and show you where they haven't grazed so you can see the difference. So you can see the vetches are on the floor. We'll not take too much more out of this. They'll probably have another 5 days or so on here, and then this one will be opened up enough. The frost will do the rest of the job on here, taking care of this. So if we just go and have a look on this other side, you can actually see over here where they haven't been how much growth there is. Yes, so now this is the cover what they haven't actually grazed yet, and you can see quite the difference in here. So they'll have a few more days where they are, and then we'll drop them over into this field. They'll probably have a couple of weeks on here, and then over into the one in the background there. We'll probably see the sheep on the farm for the next couple of months, cycling all this nutrition, doing good for the soil. So at the end of the October update, you'll see we got a lone drill in, the Avatar direct drill, because we're still waiting on the arrival of ours. So we did manage to almost get all drilled up with that. So let's just go take a look at an explanation of that drill. We're out drilling with the Avatar direct drill. This is a, let me see here, a 12 metre. So we are a 10 metre controlled traffic system, but unfortunately due to supply of the new drill, it hasn't arrived yet. We're supposed to be with us in August, we're now in November. So just to finish off the bits of drilling which we couldn't do with our Sprinter because we'd left the stubble long, I'll explain in a minute about that. Marshes have kindly lent us this drill to enable us to get drilled up. It is 12 metre, not 10, but it's a compromise just to get us drilled up. Our 10 has actually now arrived in the country, but with it getting wetter and wetter, we couldn't wait much longer. So let's take a look at this Avatar and see exactly what it's doing for us. So here we go, we'll take a closer look at what this drill is doing here for us. So this is a direct drill, so no cultivations have been done on this land. This is drilling straight in for us. So we're using a disc now. This disc here, straight, is sort of where my hand is pointing. You can see the disc is just on an angle. This is when it's running through, it's just opening the soil slightly for us. And the actual seed, so you've got your disc running down here, the seed's being popped in. This rubber wheel here is controlling the depth, so the whole drill sits down onto this. Disc is running slightly deeper. I'll lift the drill out in the ground in a minute so you can see better. And then we're dropping the seed in. This little wheel here then firms the seed into the slot, and then this toothed wheel here is then closing the slot up. So now I've just picked the drill arm to work, and you can get a better view slightly under here of what we were looking at. So depth wheel controlling the depth of the whole seed. This is the disc, so that much is running in the ground, and then behind here where my finger is the actual coulter. So this is where the seed drops out and sits in that groove. This wheel then is just firming that seed into the soil, and then you can see the angle this toothed roller sat at, just to push and close that slot again. We're using the tooth roller here. It's a little bit wet in the soil now at this time of year, but this is so when it's dry, this will crumble the edge off and chip the soil to get good seed to soil contact on it. So if we take a look here, this is what it looks like behind where this drill's actually been done. Very minimal disturbance. Can't see where it's been, but if we just pull this soil, this is actually what it has disturbed. And then what we will find, so this is where the edge of the disc has been, and then there is one of our wheat seeds in here. There should be some more. Here we go. There we go. There's two nice, showing it nicely there. All sat in here. Sat lovely in there. So the disc has been cut through here, but what we're left with here, no effort whatsoever, that just disappears into the ground, and that's what the roots are going to do. It's not been touched below, so the roots of these seeds will just go straight down, and the moisture can go down as well. So minimal disturbance. We're having to use this drill rather than our drag tine because the length of this stubble, there's the bottom of the floor and the stubble's up here. Our drag tine hangs on this and can't get through it. It's been left on purpose like that because it takes less diesel when we're harvesting. This was a crop of oats before. When we harvest the oats off, not as much straw going through the combine, so we can save diesel. And also now this is left here to break down. Had this been chopped and popped on the surface, it would lock away a lot of nutrition, a lot of nitrogen would be sucked up by this straw breaking down. But we've not done that, so these seeds what grow through now will grow through healthier. So it's sat there for a reason, and this avatar drill allows us to drill into that. And here we are stood in one of the fields that drill was drilling about 3 weeks ago, and you can just see on the video where we showed you the seed just in the slot, and here it is. Doesn't look nothing special at the moment, so it's only been out 3 weeks. Now got the cold, it's been wet on it, but it will in the spring get going. The stubble takes your eye away from it, so it's hard to see. There, if we look down the row, lovely green row growing. If we zoom back out, you struggle to see it. So that was a 12-metre just length because ours was meant to be here in August. But some good news, this has just arrived. So yes, it's finally turned up. The 10-metre avatar is on farm. Still a few things to actually alter on it, but we have a working drill with us. Needs different tyres putting out, more low ground pressure tyres on it, air brakes on it, and there's one or two other little bits and bobs, but we have a working drill now on the farm. So I thought I'd just finish off this section. It's not all about the arable crops we grow. I'm actually stood in here on what looks like a bit of a scruffy area, but this is actually one of our wildlife plots. We have nearly 90 hectares around the estate set aside just for the wildlife areas which we can't farm, so they are put aside to help the biodiversity around the farm, including other cover crops and such like what we do as well. So I thought we'd just come in here and take a look, but as I've walked in, there was a lot of birds actually feeding on some of the seeds in here, but they've just flown away. So let's see if we can just have a walk through and find some. So you can see here this quinoa or quinoa, quinoa as I know it, birds picking away on here. They've actually had quite a lot of the seeds off it already. There'll be some late from this mustards and the radishes. There'll be some later seeds set in amongst this. It did struggle to establish exactly how we wanted it because of the dry conditions. You can see some nice seed pods on there. And there, you can just, it's actually full of birds, and as the winter closes in on us, it will hold a lot more. Fill that hunger gap for the birds. So yeah, if we get some more harsh frosts come in, we'll come back down here and just see what birds we can actually see in these plots, what we leave around. So that's it for our November update really. Next update will actually be after Christmas and into the new year. It'll be our December one. So all it remains is for me, on behalf of everybody here at Revesby Estates, is to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.